Yeah, so what we're going to be looking at is the DD tarp, which is the basic 3x3. I picked this up, I think it's about 45 quid or something like that, brand new. This is the olive green version, and as you can see, it's made the PU coated stuff. So it's not the lightest weight. There is the super light one, but I've not got that myself, so we'll just work with this. As you can see, it comes with 4 guy ropes and 4 pegs, and it says that it's got the attachment points which are all around the edge, and we're going to have a little look today and see what we can do with it. Straight out of the bag then, what we're looking at, it's just stuffed in at the minute. Here's the pegs. I've added extra pegs in mine. They're very basic shepherd hook ones, one for every attachment point, which there's 19 of, so obviously it makes it more versatile. I've put this in, stuffed in like this, because if you continue to fold it the same place, then it can become worn and won't be as effective as it should be. So here inside is another little pouch, and in that you get the guy lines. Again, I've gone to DD hammocks or DD tarps, and I've bought myself some of their little mini carabiners. They come in a pack of 5 or 6, something like that. I've got myself some extra guy lines, and I've also upgraded to the line locks as opposed to the standard little adjustments. I just found them a little bit easier to manage because they're just a bit more hard wearing as well. I've also got myself a ridge line, so you can suspend the tarp over it, particularly when you're looking at putting it over hammocks and stuff like that. And you'll see on that as well, I've got little bits of paracord, and that is so that you can attach the carabiner onto it and then tension the tarp out. So with this last little guy line, all I've done is got the attachment point there. I'm going to loop it through on itself and then back through, and all that does is connect this off to there, giving me a tension point. So that is it. That's set up between 2 trees. This one here, the ridge line runs along there and it's attached to that one. All I've done is a guide point on each end, and we've tensioned it out, basic A-frame, and obviously in the poorer conditions you can put that above your hammock, which would go obviously along here. So you see these points along top. You can also run the ridge line through that so that it hangs off the ridge line rather than droops over the top, but I find I prefer this method. But that's the beautiful thing about all of these tarps, because they're very versatile. So Just for demonstration purposes, this is when it's hanging from the loops underneath the ridgeline rather than over the top. It just does what it says on the tin. Again, we've got the carabiner and the little bit of paracord, pulling that tight, so there's a little bit of it's a little bit loose here, but essentially, yeah, it just hangs underneath. If you look at these attachment points, I've tried to keep, this one's not so great, but I've tried to keep the angle of the attachment point running parallel, because then it keeps everything taut. This side's a bit better, so the angle's right to keep it nice and taut. Yeah, so some little adjustments. I've got a little more at the back now and a little less at the front, and obviously there's some nice airflow underneath, which will be good in these warmer weather conditions at the minute. I've attached a guide point here because in the right conditions and a space allowing, you can pitch that up there, which also gives you a great view. And again, if you've got the hammock underneath there, it's going to be great views all night long. So there's that nice little peaked front there. All I've done, guy line attached to that, around the walking pole, which is fully extended, and attached to the loop of that, another guy loop down to the floor, which gives you that nice look. Along with my tarp, I've got myself a little magic carpet because I figured it would be good for a ground sheet as such, so that's what I use this for. It's only small, it's basically a mini tarp, and that's what that looks like. It's very small, I think it's about 1.5 meters by 1.5 meters, so it's not very big, but yeah, that's the carpet. So yeah, what we'll be looking at is that. This is our little cozy spot now, laying in the hammock, and there's our little view out there, and that is what we've got here. Again, you can see the smaller section at the front, giving us the more protection at the back, but either way we're protected from the elements, particularly the wet ones. This is so nice. I honestly think I could sit here forever. It is so comfy, so chilled, so relaxed. It's just awesome. So just for our little demonstration today, that's the two trees originally I had the hammock on, and then had the tarp along these two trees. I've left nothing disturbed really, other than a few bits of twigs and dry bits of dead wood I've moved away. Other than that, yep, as always, leave no trace. So we've just moved on from the area where we were, which is more bushcrafty and woodlandy kind of stuff, and I think it comes into its own when you've got a tarp in there, and obviously a hammock. But we'll move on to a little bit of a more open area so we can have a look at the different types of pitches that we can use the tarp for to give us different shelters. So yep, everybody's favourite, the Tarp Tent, probably the one you'll see the most. I've used this in the Lake District up in Hallenfell on a clear night, and with the gap in the front there, it's obviously exposed, but I had this and this closed in, so it kind of created a much smaller door down here. But yep, essentially I used
I've guyed out every possible bit there, so there's one here and one the other side and one at the back instead of using a pole inside. You can minimise weight by using less pegs, but I've pegged out every area that needed pegging to make it more stable. Inside I've got my little magic carpet and my bag of stuff, and you can see there's loads and loads of room in there. Yep, as you can see, loads and loads of space. I'm inside the tent as far as I can be. There's loads of space out here. You could easily get 2 people in here, 3 people max. Just realised the pole was in the way as well. So, but yeah, and obviously if you want to lower, you can lower the pole, widen the base. So, but yeah, it is what it is. It's a great little setup, and it's really easy. Here's the view from the inside, looking good. So yeah, all in all, I've got 4 down this side pegs, 4 down that side pegs, 2 at the back, and 1 on this guy line, 1 on that guy line. So 12 pegs all in, 1 walking pole, and that's kind of all we needed really. Lightweight. From here then, a few little adjustments. We'll change the shape completely, and we'll look at a different style. So when we're chatting about the tarp, it's 3x3, it's square, but it's versatile. So there's lots of little things you can do with it. It's basically, it's Tarpology, isn't it? But yeah, it's like origami almost. I'm not sure what this is called, to be fair, but this is something I've learnt. Call it the pyramid tent, perhaps, I don't know. Either way, it's a closed setup, so you can't get in it unless you open it. There's no opening. Again, so what we're looking at, 5, 6 pegs, 6 pegs. The only addition with this is there's a carabiner here, and just allows you to get in. Yeah, so undoing that carabiner allows you to get in. So again inside the tent is 1 pole that sets it all up. Again, great for mountains, a bit better for summit camps potentially, because it's closed, it's more protected from the elements. But yeah, brilliant. There's little bits here, the triangle bits that you can fold in, you can peg those out, you can tie this back so that makes that neat, and again you can use the magic carpet inside and just pitch it over the top of the pole, makes it nice and neat and closed. Again, I'll just sit you back a little bit. Grab that carabiner, pitch that on there, and it's closed again. This is what I mean here. So you can fold that in, peg that out inside, all looks very neat. And because we've got that little bit here, those little loops can be pegged out for a little bit of extra support. So from this little bit here, I'll make a few more adjustments again, and we'll change the setup once more. Bit of a faff that one, but we got there. So 6, 8 pegs, no guy lines, very simple, 2 walking poles. Again secured with a carabiner. We can pop one of those out. And then we can get inside. Yeah, again, 2 people easily fit in there, plenty of room, no problem. And that is also with the magic carpet in it. Easily sitting there, no problem. Another little adjustment on that, we can make it into what is the basic A-frame setup. So we'll do that. Yep, so basic setup, A-frame, 2 poles, my mat's still underneath, but yeah, just pitched out essentially all down the sides. So you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 pegs, plus the 2 here, front and end, to allow the poles to stand up, so 12 pegs, 2 poles, very simple. Another good thing about that setup, I can create a bit of a raised pitch so that I can do it on taller poles. So if you've got the poles from DD Tarps or any other tent pegs, then you can do that. So yeah, that keeps the tarp off the ground, basically raises it up. Obviously, instead of these points here being pegged to the ground or very low, they're a good 3 or 4 feet long now, giving the tarp a good clearance of 2 or 3 feet as well. So probably associated with more of a base campy setup rather than sleeping arrangements. But yeah, that's the versatility of these tall poles. Not even ducking. I am a little bit. But yeah. There's a nice little loop here, if it focuses. There you go. Nice little loop there. And the little canvasy loop is on the little spike. So it allows it to rest over that without falling off. Got a little adjuster here so we can adjust it a good few inches, well, as long as this pole really. And then on the bottom there's a nice little cap. There's not a spike, but it doesn't need to be spiked into the ground really. Another different way of doing it other than the conventional. So we've gone diagonal instead of rectangle. One of my little favourites. Gives a lot of coverage. So that's the versatility of the tarp. There are a few setups that I know. There's countless others, but they're the ones I've used and have learnt along the way. For me, big shout out to Papa Hiker, because he's one of the lads I've seen on YouTube that I've learnt most of the stuff from. But yeah, go out, get yourself a tarp. Doesn't have to be an expensive one. I wouldn't say that DD Tarps is too expensive, to be fair, but yeah, go out and get one, go and have a little play with it. They're probably more versatile than you realise, and they're not too far removed from the trekking pole tents that are out and about now, and probably lighter in some cases. So enjoy.